stocks and what's happening as well. Dinshaw Irani is with us, CEO at Helios Mutual Fund. Dinshaw, good to have you with us here. You know, before you say it, the price is 50 points here and there. So let's just say it anyway. What's going on?
Hey, Prashant. Very good afternoon to you, your team, and the viewers. Actually, I came in on a very bullish note, but looking at the correction in the markets, I'm still bullish, by the way. So that doesn't change. Anyway, the fact is that we weren't expecting the market to rise so sharply today, because we were also wondering what happened suddenly. Why is the market moving up so sharply? And obviously, the downturn also has taken us by surprise. But the fact is, Prashant, I think the bulk of the problems are over, in the sense that at least the FIIs which are moving out, and we've always been calling it out as a Trump trade. We never thought that it was China which was seeing the money diverted from India as such. It was mainly US, the money flying back to the US as such. I think that trade has reversed now. And obviously, the worst coincided with the worst time for the fundamentals, at least. So September, we believe that these are going to be the worst numbers. Going into December quarter, you'll see some uptick happening, maybe not that much healthy signs, but you may see some uptick happening. So overall, I think the things are not bad at all for the markets. And even globally, I mean, I don't think globally the markets are seeing some bad news on the sidelines or something, and that may impact the market. India needs to be driven by global markets also. I mean, you need the global factors also to be in place for India to keep on its way up. So we don't believe you'll see I mean, if I was to predict for you the FY25 thing, I don't think it's going to be a negative market for us.
All right. Hi, Dinshaw. Good afternoon. Good to see you win, and congratulations. The AUM is just moving up, right? I think you'll hit a new record, I think, of 3,000 crores?
Yes. Thanks, Nigel. Yes, we crossed 3,000 crores quite appreciably. So next target is obviously not even 5. I mean, we're looking at much higher numbers than this. We're just warming up, I suppose.
Yeah, that's what Samir seems to, Samir was quite excited on Twitter, that 3,000 crore mark. And as you said, let's not look at 5. You're looking at 10,000. That's the next target. So good on you all, and congratulations to you as well as the entire team. Make a lot of money for all your investors. Let's talk about various themes then, Dinshaw. What are you all most bullish on? The markets gave you a bit of a dip. I mean, we saw a 10% correction on the Nifty itself. Individual stocks went down 20-30% odd. What's the top theme?
So, Nigel, fortunately for us, our NAV, the last declared number, which was yesterday's, is at an all-time high. So, touch wood, I mean, the markets have been fairly kind to us. Obviously, our investment team has done their job. I mean, they're really on the ball on this one. The good ideas that we came up with along the way have been all the platform companies. I mean, we've been bullish on the 3 names earlier, and we've added one more with the new listing which came by in November. We were the anchor investors there. On the day of the listing, we added a bit more, I mean, much more to our anchor holding also as such. So touch with that also has done fairly well for us. So I think this is one big mover which has helped us keeping our NAV back. I mean, bringing our NAV back as such. 4 of the platform companies that we are into. Obviously, IT is another call that we had taken. The markets were very skeptical about it, but I think IT also has done very well going forward. And obviously, the one big mover has been the banks, and especially the ones which you guys keep questioning Samir and me about all the time. That has done fairly well as such. So I think that all these things have come together to help us make this fantastic money, rather returns for our investor.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Banks have worked really well for you. Dinshaw, they've had a great run, right? Last couple of weeks, we've seen some solid gains come through. Now there's talk about more monetary easing, so perhaps better times ahead. By the way, I just want to draw attention to the market. I mean, this is moving like a yo-yo. At around 3 p.m., we had this massive dramatic fall come through on the Nifty. Today is the weekly options expiry. I mean, if you just see the rise and the fall, and then multiple times this has happened today, really require a strong stomach to digest it. Between the lowest point of the day and the highest point of the day, the swing is 550 points on the Nifty. It's that kind of a roller coaster that's playing out. Pull out a Reliance, perhaps. Reliance was one of the stocks that had that dramatic fall along with the Nifty when we went down. Now there's some recovery from that lowest level. We'll try and get some trading perspective with some F&O experts as well to just figure out what is going on in trading positions today. Today is the Nifty weekly product expiring on the option side. But anyway, Dinshaw, so what new? 2025? Give us a hot new idea.
By the way, Surabhi, coming back to that yo-yo in the market, there's my doctor who keeps telling me to go in for a stress test, and I always tell him that market stress me every day. So don't worry. I mean, my heart is pretty strong on this one. So anyway, so talking about 25, we actually don't think as I said, I already said it out in the beginning itself, don't think the markets will be negative. It'll be positive. Maybe they may not be as positive as one has seen in the past as such. I mean, the 14-15% kind of returns that one has seen, maybe it'll be single digits. Who knows about that? But the fact is that I think the biggest mover in the market will be two, rather. One would be obviously the interest rates, how they pan out, how the central bank Indian central bank starts looking at that. The liquidity easing is already, hopefully something will come out tomorrow as such. If that happens, I'm sure interest rates will be the next one that the RBI will be looking at cutting off going into the next year. And obviously the biggest one of them all would be the policies of Trump, as and when he comes out with his thought process on what he is looking at in terms of trade tariffs and all that. I think that all will work out the future course for the markets as such. In terms of ideas, I think we'll stick with the ones that we have. We are very bullish on, as I said, private sector banks. The financial services space, that again continues to dominate in our portfolio. Platform companies will continue to dominate. Consumption will be a story which will pick up going forward. We are yet underweight on that one, but we'll be looking at that going forward. I'm sorry, I'm kitchen sinking out here because nobody knows anything about anything beyond a certain point in time. And I'm basically taking a call on what I see in the foreseeable future rather than anything else. So.
Dinshaw, hi. What about the hot themes of 2024? Defense, EMS, in fact, the last 2 years. What's the expectation of how they may perform next year?
So defense, actually, we are quite okay with defense. I mean, I don't think we believe that India at some point in time will become an outsourcing base for most of the defense players as such. You've seen that the private sector players, you've already seen that happening. Public sector also, there's some portion of exports which happens as such. But I think it's going to happen in a big way, given that the world is looking at friendly countries to source their defense from. And India, fortunately, has been holding its ground in terms of not leaning towards right or left or anything of that sort. And it's a fairly friendly country to source from as such. So that way, we are quite okay. However, we were really disappointed with the budget which was presented, and that's why we did trim a few defense names, but we got back into those names again as we realized that things are again on the way up. In terms of the EMS players, I mean, frankly, I mean, I think the China plus one story, I don't think that's going to pan out in a big way as such. China did what it did at the right time when the world was shrinking. They wanted to see cheaper outsourcing and stuff like that. But now the world is very apprehensive and they want their supply bases to be onshore or near shore and stuff like that. That's why you see US offering a lot of SOPs to semiconductor players, to PV players, to EV players, and to photovoltaic players and stuff like that. So I don't think that story is going to play out in a big way. There'll be selective pockets where you can play that with. And I think the biggest giveaway is the margins of our biggest outsourcing player. Fairly mediocre margins, I mean, or rather mid single digit kind of margins. That's not exciting enough for the valuation that player commands. So we would rather be comfortable looking at very selective players in that space as such.
You know, Dinshaw, you made just taking a small detour. We have Chandan Tapar